Hello, everybody, and welcome to Law Dog Sports, the weekend big show. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog, here with you, coming at you on a Thursday instead of our regular Friday morning. Some plans in the works to have some other things going on, and Jeremy Schroeder, my partner and ruler of the airways, was kind enough and generous enough to jump in and be a part of this broadcast on a Thursday evening, so getting it in a little bit early, so that's not always a bad thing. But how are you doing other than your Thunder looking like they're going to be forced to play a Game 7 Sunday in Oklahoma City?
At least it's in Oklahoma City. I feel like I've taken part in an NBA-sanctioned sleep deprivation experiment this last 2 weeks. I will never understand how they can justify playing games at 8:30 Central on a Tuesday or a Thursday. So I still have to get up early tomorrow morning.
Oh, dude, I thought you were. I didn't know you were. Are you working tomorrow, or are you off?
No, we're still in school.
Oh yeah, my bad,
Yeah,
dude. Well, we'll make it quick because there's not a lot to go
good.
over here on this game tonight. But
you're good.
Apparently, the Thunder suffering through a terrible second half. Really, man, I tell you, you go up 12 with about 3 minutes left before halftime, and you really have a chance to put your foot on the gas, and then they go on a 12-0 run, and then Lou Dort hits the three at the end just to save some face. But I mean, the way that kind of fell in, it just kind of set the way for what was going to be this second half. It has not been pretty.
No, and they haven't been able to outrun that whistle all night either.
Yeah,
it's been tough.
Well, and then for all the detractors of SGA and all of the bitching and complaining by a lot of people, not just Denver media, but a lot of others, it really if whatever they complain about, it evened out tonight. And Jamal Murray's been able to do a lot of stuff tonight. In fact, he's just pushing J-Dub right in the chest on a drive that I saw. And then
yeah, you're allowed to hand check on offense, I guess.
But I will say this, and this has been an issue all series long.
Just cut it to 10.
Yeah. I will say this, and this has been an issue all series long. The Thunder have not been really tuned up as far as finishing at the bucket.
No, not at all.
They're not good this series.
They haven't shot the ball well at all either.
Well, and I'm just talking about easy layups. I'm talking about, pump fake and try to get a shot up over a guy when you're, catch the ball down low. Hello, Marty Wandry at Clinton Liquor, our friend from Clinton Liquor, checking in on the YouTube stream. And I don't know, it's really a tough go, but that's kind of how the NBA is, unless you're, depleted to the point that your star's out with a bad hamstring or an Achilles.
Yeah. They just called a foul on Caruso away from the ball. Jokic just fell on him.
Yeah. It is Denver's night tonight.
What? Okay. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Okay. So, I didn't. The one thing that Schmeigel did well tonight was give Joker some rest. I mean, what he get 4 minutes there in the third, between the third and fourth quarter, I think.
Yeah, he did, and he needs it. He's got a little tan now, so it doesn't quite look like a bowl of mashed potatoes sitting in the sun, I guess.
Yep. You may be ahead of me. I show 110 to 90.
It's 111, 101.
111, 101. Okay, so you are pretty well ahead of me. Denver had no bench play in the first half. Bench came in the second half with Strother and Watson and did some things. So cold shooting by the Thunder is just really all you can attribute it to. I mean, 27% from three. It's just a 46% night from the field. I mean, it's just a bad night.
Oh, wow. Yeah, watch the replay of the he just got pinballed between two guys. Oh, they did give him the call.
Yeah,
okay.
I thought he was walking to the.
I was going to say that should have been a foul. That was wow, pretty rough.
Yeah, some nervous Denver fans in the audience. 10 points with 2 minutes left is apparently not their comfort zone.
And OKC's been magical at times. I don't foresee it happening tonight, but
No.
What the hell do I know? Oh,
Yeah.
Caruso's on the floor. The ball. Oh, and then Gordon kicked it out of bounds.
All right. So I don't know what we'll get in trouble for descriptions of the final action, but
Yeah, I'll shut up.
I mean, it's just that thing about it. Denver, you're talking about their entire season, their entire legacy of this squad. They're going to fight, and
Yeah,
I don't know that Oklahoma City was quite prepared to come in and really close this team out. They didn't close them out in game one at home. So
this has been the weirdest series. I mean, conceivably, they had some boneheaded coaching moves that cost them game one.
Yeah.
Could have another boneheaded coaching move, in my opinion. You're up 3, you get the ball, call a timeout.
Guard the three.
Get those pups under control for a minute.
Give them all the twos they want. Guard the 3.
Yeah. Grab another bucket, go up by 5. But no, they just let it run.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a weird series. Could have very well been a sweep, and now it's most likely going to go 7.
And then Minnesota sitting back at home after closing out a depleted Golden State team, and really might have closed them out in 5 or 6, even with Steph. That's just kind of how I see that.
I don't have much faith in that roster. I don't have much faith in Kerr as a coach. I think
at most he would make space. He would create space for Jimmy Butler to operate, but beyond that, it was going to be tough for them to hang with Minnesota with everything that they can. I mean, Minnesota hasn't even had to go to Joe Ingles yet this postseason.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants to see. Toby Flenderson out there.
Toby Flenderson. Well, we are streaming live late night on a Thursday here, and it is post game, kind of post game for the NBA Finals here, or NBA playoffs. And it's just kind of late, but I wanted to give Jeremy the chance to come on with me. We didn't get to last Friday, and then I was looking at also being unavailable this Friday, so I didn't want to take a chance and go 2 straight weeks without us getting on the horn. But just a tough night for the Thunder in Denver. Closeout games, and especially in a Game 6. I look at a closeout game and a Game 5 a lot differently than I do at a 6.
Yeah. If you've got the advantage, or at least they were at home, so
yeah,
it's a little different.
Sure, but it's it's a championship team. I mean, they've won a title. They've got arguably if not the MVP, the MVP runner up. Just depends on your taste and bias, but he sure is a Euro whiner. I'll say that.
Oh my God, is there? I mean, the Eastern European basketball player, I don't get it. Maybe a couple games in a row, so we're putting a stop to this. Yeah. First time he turns around with his palms in the air, T.
Yeah.
One more peep, T.
The way it just carries on and on and on is really bad. But he's not as bad as Luka, but they are both just insufferable. I mean,
yeah, it's rough to watch.
But I will say this: I mean, at least Jokic.
Oh, they cut it to 8. Oh. Yeah, just get a little time on the clock.
Caruso,
at least Jokic, demon himself.
At least Jokic is down there banging around in the post. I mean,
and
he does absorb a lot of contact.
He creates most of it himself.
He does, but I mean,
I love the 60 feet from the basket where he'll drape his arms over a man standing in a defensive posture and try to drag him to the floor.
Yeah,
or just jumping on people.
He's done that a couple times this series.
The theatrics are, back in our day, Chuck. Kermit Washington would have knocked his head right off his shoulders.
Oh, Jeff Rulin would have plowed him into some really deep seats.
Yes.
Marty Wandry says Thunder need a Reggie Miller moment. Yeah, that's.
I don't think that's coming tonight, but Game 7's at home. The window's just opening up, and just imagine this team next season with Giannis.
Well, they did get a 40-point blowout in game 2, so it could happen.
Sure.
Marty Wandry says, "Man, I'm old," so that's how I feel daily. But the East is the Celtics. They're not going down easily. I mean, whatever it was that you know they really came back and kind of spit mud in the eye of the Knicks the other night. Probably the biggest disappointment of this postseason has been the Cavaliers.
You think?
Yeah, I mean,
Man, the East is so bad, man. It's just so bad. It,
yeah,
top to bottom. Yeah, they won the most. They won the most games. They won 60 plus games. It's a bad, bad conference. OKC played 25 games against the East this year. Went 24-1.
yeah,
Just
and
bad.
one was that Cleveland loss
Yeah,
in Cleveland, and then they came back the next night and beat the Cavs. But
and I think they were with Chet and Hartenstein that night.
they were, and but here's the thing, and whoever wins Game 7 on Sunday, because I'm going to go ahead and wave the white flag here for the Thunder.
Yeah, you got less than a minute. It's 10
Yeah.
points. You're safe.
Whoever wins Game 7, if it's the Thunder, they're going to have a lot of issues down low because Julius Randle is having a well of a playoff series or playoffs.
Yeah,
and,
him and Gobert
create a lot of problems. And I tell you what, I mean, I know, what is he in his second year of actually a full season of playing, but to me, Chet Holmgren is far from anything that puts fear, in my mind, of being an offensive threat late or in a clutch moment or when you need buckets.
Yeah, he's got a lot of growth. He needs to maybe he'll do it in Milwaukee.
And the worst part about it is they're getting beat tonight by a big game from a POS Kansas Jayhawk.
Oh, this Christian Brown.
Yeah, Braun.
Yeah, he looks like he looks like central casting from the movie Hoosiers.
Wonder what his role was in the Adidas scandal.
I don't know. He probably got some cash in it. Was he there during NIL? I don't know.
He couldn't have been there during the complete of NIL. I mean,
they didn't pay him enough. I mean, Bill Self's still wearing that god awful toupee.
Yeah. Well, and so this one's pretty much all over but the singing. I didn't understand not giving SGA pulling SGA out, because I do believe that playing with 4 fouls after the first half is over is going to affect how you play in the second half. I mean, just a bad night for him to get whistle bit, but he, I don't know.
He's got to be smarter. You can't look at Jokic if he's got the ball in his hands.
No. 32
look at him.
points,
Look at the
3
floor.
rebounds, 6 assists. It's and
they got nothing out of Dub tonight.
Yeah.
I think at one point he was 3 or 13, and they had to set him down because it was just so bad.
Yeah, and then
turn that off.
Case and Wallace was really going after it in the first half, but then really
pulled to DeMarco Murray and didn't understand how hot hand works.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the issue this season. And then Aaron Wiggins contributes nothing. Isaiah Joe plays 2 minutes. I mean, it
seems like a road game against a desperate team, and they were pressing a little bit.
They're going to be desperate on Sunday too. There's got to be some a little bit of self-doubt going out there and shooting so bad, and then also having already dropped one to this team in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, a game they should have. Like I said, you don't foul up 3 with 30 seconds on the clock. Just let them work for it.
You're
make them work
extending
for
the game when they're the ones that are supposed to extend the game. That's just
That's
just
if they
terrible.
make a 2, oh well, it stops the clock. It doesn't stop the clock.
No, and then also, and when I go back to that game 1, I think on the inbounds play where SGA got loose and scored, they were up 3, I think, or maybe they got
that put them up 5.
He got the quick 2, but I just thought, man, you could have dribbled out and wasted. I mean, at that point in time, you want clock more than you even want a 2-pointer, right? That's just kind of how it looked. But
that's the rough thing about such a young team with such a young coach. you got to go through growing. No matter how great they are, there's going to be those growing pains when you get into big moments like this.
But if Aaron Gordon's not, shooting out of his mind for, better than he has his whole career, then that's not that's not an issue. So
One
he's
thing
got
about Aaron Gordon, when he
Mhm.
was in Orlando,
Yeah.
he did that to Oklahoma City. When he was in Chicago, did that to Oklahoma City.
He's just
One of
he's
those.
the
He's on the Mount Rushmore of Thunder Killers.
he's the other PJ Washington. So
He's like him and up there with Elfrid Payton.
well, so this one is in the books, and the Thunder will play a Game 7 on Sunday. I imagine that's going to be 11 o'clock tip off.
Well, it's technically a weeknight, so they'll probably play it at midnight Eastern.
Well, let's see if they've already got it in the books. They don't. The score doesn't have a time set. I would bet it's that noon slot. I can't imagine ABC, because ABC will have the game, right?
Yeah, let's see what the evil four-letter has to say. NBA. So how was your week?
Oh, it's been all right. My soccer team, the Weatherford Lady Eagles, fell
2:30 Sunday.
2:30. Okay. My girls' soccer team, the Weatherford Lady Eagles, fell in the Class 4A semifinals on Tuesday night to the Holland Hall. They're the Dutch, so I don't know if you call them Lady Dutch or I don't want to be incorrect here, but they were the Dutch. So
Oh,
I
I
had to make
can't
trip
stand
to
the
Tulsa,
Dutch.
lose, and come back around. Yeah,
I just want the Michael Caine diatribe from Austin Powers.
I came so close to saying that because if it had been just radio, I might have thrown that out there. But I think with the stream, it could be a licensing issue.
Yeah.
There's only two things I hate in this world. That's people who are intolerant of other people's cultures and
Dutch.
What is it, you crazy Dutch bastard?
What country was he talking about? He said, I can't stand them.
Belgium.
They border the Dutch. Belgians.
The Belgians made Dr. Evil so evil. So
Yeah.
those Belgians just made him so evil. But anyway, Jokic, tonight for Denver, Jamal Murray listed as a game time decision. I had no intention of thinking that he was going to be anything but in the game. I mean, they've got this thing called B12, and they can inject it into your body. And if you feel bad, you can get out there.
That's pretty good at that stuff.
Jokic, 29 and 14. He also had 8 assists, and really, like I said, had a significant break there in that between the third and fourth quarter.
And here's the thing, Chuck, you could live with those numbers from Jokic. Because if he's got less than 10 assists, he's not getting too many other guys involved.
Yeah.
You got to limit somebody. And tonight they limited Aaron Gordon.
Christian Brown. That's who you had to limit.
In the corner all day.
Yeah. Christian Brown with 23 points. I think they were already talking about a career high for him when he had 17, I think.
And, when you shoot 32 free throws to OKC's 16.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good night for you.
Yeah, and for all those that talk about OKC being free throw merchants and things like that,
there is no bigger free throw merchant than Nikola Jokic.
No.
And does any league just despise like gum on your shoe despise more their small markets than the NBA?
Well, I don't know exactly how the NBA feels about small markets. But the NBA tolerates the major media outlets just truly beating small markets over the head. I mean, it's just nonstop. And really, I guess with the media and league agreements and cooperation, this small market that we are adjacent to has definitely sucked hind teeth this season on coverage and on speculation. It's always that we're flying under the radar. We're going to use the disrespect to our credit, to our motivation. Sure. I mean, I get that, but after a while, when you're the number one seed by a long shot and you've got an MVP candidate who's leading the way, I mean, the bashing has just been really bad.
I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about the 1.7% chance that Dallas had to win the draft lottery.
Yeah.
So I had it up here earlier, but I took it down my yarn and, I was like, okay,
You're
so
doing
LeBron leaves Cleveland, goes
Yeah.
to LA, Cavs get the number 1 pick. Anthony Davis gets traded to the Lakers, New Orleans gets the number 1 pick. It doesn't have to be the Lakers. Chris Paul gets traded to the Clippers. Who gets the number 1 pick?
Yep.
Michael Kidd-Gilchrist to the Charlotte Hornets, or New Orleans Hornets at that time. And I'm sure
Yeah.
there are others.
So Kidd-Gilchrist was a number one
You
selection.
know, I was talking about it with Cameron the other day when I was fleshing out this theory, and we couldn't remember who it was, and we didn't bother to look. But that was the one we settled on. I was like, that sounds right, because if he went to the New Orleans Hornets at the time, he didn't pan out.
Where was he out of? Was he a UConn kid or a Kentucky kid?
Sounds like a Kentucky kid.
Yeah.
Let me effort that.
Well, so the series is tied at 3-3, and Nuggets win 119-107. So that really, I mean, here's the benefit that you look at for Oklahoma City. It's the second straight Game 7 for the Nuggets. And instead of waving the white flag and pulling everybody out with 5 minutes left, Daignault kept players still in there. And one time the lead was single digits. So a 12-point victory, that's something you don't put away until the last minute, truly.
Right.
And then, so your players are out there to the full 48. So, I mean, I imagine, for Oklahoma City's sake, they have to hope that the minutes start to stack up and that, that they're
Definitely.
that they're going to go into Oklahoma City and kind of repeat Game 2. That would be the best thing for OKC. I don't know, just speculation. I couldn't tell you, Jeremy, what I would expect of your team in a tight Game 7.
We'll see. I don't know what to expect either.
Because they puked down their leg twice, and then got really fortunate that Lugan's Dort got really hot when they were down, double digits the other night?
Well, Case and Wallace got really hot when they were down double digits tonight. They just couldn't build off of it. Oh, yeah. Because Daignault took him out of the game.
Yeah. And then, just terrible night from 3. What was the number? What were the numbers? If you can effort that, what were their numbers shooting from 3 in the second half? If they were 27% on the game, I would bet it was 10% lower than that in the second half.
I know for a fact they made 2 3-point baskets in the second half.
Okay.
I don't know how many they shot. I'm going to say they shot about 10% in the second half.
Yeah. So just awful.
I watched Chet just out there throwing him off the backboard and looking like
SGA had a bit of a arm injury or hand injury in the first half after Russell Westbrook slapped down on his forearm. I told my wife, I said, I kind of wonder if that wasn't kind of like a nerve, like it popped a nerve and he just, had that tingling in it the way he was.
There's a pressure point.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. Looked like they hit a little bit up the forearm, but I think you'd be right. So,
Russell Westbrook, you jerk. That game is has a completely different complexion if Shea doesn't get into foul trouble in the first half. If Hart doesn't have to sit down when they're handling them down low. But once he got that fourth foul and once Hart got in that fourth foul, it's turnstile.
Well, in the third quarter, they were navigating against that zone. Hartenstein had 4 points, I think, real quick off of.
Yeah, he was just sitting in the dunker spot. He was wide open every time he got down there.
To a professional team who decides to play zone. Jalen Williams is probably the one who fell the shortest tonight. I mean, 6 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists. That's good, but I mean, he was a -8 on the night. Man, Dort and Hartenstein both -17 and -18 on the night. You can't have anything close to that in Game 7.
No, that ain't good.
So
You, my only solace to that is it is a home game. The Thunder, I know the depth was awful tonight, but typically benches don't travel.
it wasn't in the first half. They had
Yeah.
20 bench points in the first half.
Yeah, what they have in the second half.
I'm just saying. I mean,
Oh, I know. And
the
how many of those were
variation.
Caruso, who's kind of a part-time starter?
I'll just say this too. SGA looked like he reverted into hero ball there in the third quarter too. I just,
Did you
it,
did you see did you see the? I mean, yeah, I think it was out of necessity the way the rest of the team was
yeah.
shooting.
If J Dub and Chet aren't doing much, but like I said, I mean, you're all professionals, and the 3-pointer is a vital key to professional basketball. So if you're not out there connecting, I would be rotating quicker. You jack up 2 threes and you're nowhere close. I'm going with somebody else.
My biggest problem was they cut it to 9 in that fourth quarter, and they just kept jacking up threes.
Yeah.
It's like, twos, I know they don't count as much and they're not as fun, but
you score
put
enough
them on.
of them.
Yeah, they're closing out hard on threes. Get in the lane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Use Chet and Hart, and get some easy buckets.
Yeah. Well, it's the NBA finals are going to be around the corner, and the Western Conference finals are coming up after Game 7, and Minnesota will have a lot of time to rest.
I am just ready for. I don't know. Maybe if they win Sunday and we got a few days and they don't play a 8:30 p.m. tip, a couple times in a row, and then school's out after next week, maybe I'll feel differently.
Yeah.
But right now it's like, can we just be done? Please.
Adelman, I don't know if he's had half of his jaw wired shut or what, but he talks real heavy out of one side of his mouth. And then he looks exactly like Gollum
Alfred E. Newman.
from Lord of the Rings. Yeah, he is Alfred E. Newman, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Bit of a combination. I see some Gollum too.
Maybe if Gollum and Alfred E. Newman had a child.
Maybe
Sorry,
right before Gollum turned in, maybe right
when he was Smeagol.
When he was Smeagol.
Yeah.
He's a river folk, whatever it is. So anyways, all right. So
can you imagine the memes if they win it all, though?
Oh, yeah.
Because
like what?
With his precious.
His precious, the ring. I don't see them winning at all. And I'm just going to put this out there right now, Jeremy. I don't see Minnesota not making it to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, whoever comes out of the West is going to win it.
I get that, but I
don't think anybody in the East is. I just don't think anybody in the East is any good. I think Boston might not lose much with Tatum being out.
I would be interested to see exactly what the Knicks could do against either Denver or Minnesota.
Yeah.
Now I'll say this: Denver is going to struggle. Now, maybe not now. Maybe Michael Porter Jr. finds fewer minutes with some of the play that they had from Strother and Christian Brown tonight. But the guy is 6'10". So, but I just think, J-Dub 3 of 15, 0 for 3 from 3 and 0 free throw attempts. That's your story right there, Jeremy.
Hey, actually, it was 3 of 16.
Okay, Steelman.
3 of 16.
Steelman put that out 32 minutes ago, so I was just kind of copying off of him.
SGA was 11 of 16 from the floor.
Yeah.
You can't – and he had 6 assists. You can't – a guy who – he only played 35 minutes. That's –
Well, I'm just going to throw this out there, and I'm not trying to be haterade on you, but, how many times over the years, and Steph Curry is a point guard, but he's by far not your traditional point guard, but he can be. Chris Paul, I don't know. I'm never comfortable having the point guard being the primary scorer.
He's not a point guard.
No.
He's not. He's not a point guard.
So who's the facilitator on that starting 5?
Let's see. All of them? You've watched them play. Dub brings it up.
Yeah.
Chet brings it up. Chet can't dribble, but he brings it up. The only one who doesn't really, and who's probably one of the better facilitators is Hartenstein. Just he's got that little Nick Collison game to him.
Yeah.
I don't. They don't run a true point guard. Nobody. I I can't.
How many games has it been since Hartenstein tried that little push shot he does in the paint?
He made it a couple of times today. He
He
still
did?
does it. Yeah, yeah. He
Hmm,
still does it.
I missed it.
Um, they don't. Yeah, and I'm hard pressed to. I mean, Nikola Jokic is basically the Nuggets point guard, and he's their leading scorer. Jalen Brunson is a point guard.
Well, I mean,
He's
I'm
a
going
leading
to
scorer.
disagree with you there. Jamal Murray is in essence their point guard.
Yeah, but their facilitator is Jokic.
Well, after he's got it in the post or I don't know. Yeah, it's just
Traditional point guard's dead. It's positionless ball now. I mean, for the most part,
yeah.
you still have your guys that are just in there for just to be big, but
Well,
you're not going to see like a Chris Paul is like the last of a dying breed.
well, and think about this when when SGA is having an off night, do you feel like he does enough to move the offense even if he's not getting his spots, even if he's not getting
Yes,
his shots?
yes, because two guys go with him everywhere he goes.
Okay. Are they
I mean, he's
finding
he's being doubled. Guys have to
yeah.
make shots when they're open.
Michael Busso checking in here on the night? Good evening from Boos. I don't know. I'm really, I'll see. I don't want you to have to not have a Western Conference Finals at your disposal, but if Denver goes down there and wins that, I can't say I'd be surprised right now.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, they're still young. Like I said, the window's just opening. They It's experience. They
Yeah.
caught Luca last year, and of course, PJ Washington couldn't miss anything. But is it a successful season if they lose in the second round? No, no, it's a disappointment. It's a failure. You win 68 games in regular season. You can't close two games at home. You had no business losing.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
Such is life.
How interesting, we talk about the media markets, and really New York and Boston are the only two left, and one of those will fall out this this time next week.
Yeah, so the only hope is, I mean, Denver's somewhat, they have three professional sports teams, so
Yeah.
it's pretty big market. God,
Indianapolis.
they were staring Cleveland, OKC right in the face, and they got lucky.
Well, I was just about to throw out, they could be looking at Indiana, Minnesota.
Yeah. Cleveland's not a huge market, but it's a pretty big market.
Yeah, I mean,
If you can support three major league franchises.
What is it? New York, LA, Chicago, Houston.
Yes.
In Houston, and then probably Atlanta's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
One of the Florida towns, I would guess.
Miami.
I don't know. Definitely slim pickings if the Knicks, don't make it to the finals.
That is true, and we'll see.
I think it's funny, but
I think it's funny too. Because these small market teams have had to do teardowns and rebuilds, and a lot of these big market teams never have to face that.
Yeah,
they just keep adding pieces like the Lakers.
Well, I was scared, honestly, because I was listening to the Pencil Neck the other day, or yesterday actually, and he gave the dreaded vote of confidence that that Oklahoma.
Well, I mean, then it's
out
over
tonight.
That's calm coward.
He gave it the Corso.
I can't think of a time he's ever been right.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you just don't want him picking your team.
No. Lord, no.
You did mention the draft and the Dallas Mavericks against all odds received the number one pick.
Against all odds, huh? This was like the 1983 draft where they had the the Knicks card dog-eared so Stern would grab it. So they
Say
get
again, what
Ewing
year
or whatever your Ewing got drafted.
was that? The year they read the wrong. I mean, it was pretty blatant. They read the
They
wrong
thought it
one.
was it was supposed to, yeah, the Sixers thought they got it, but then it was the Knicks.
Well,
And then the year Chicago got it and they drafted the Chicago native Derrick Rose #1 overall. The year Cleveland got it and drafted Cleveland area native LeBron James.
Jeremiah Fears is pretty well high on the draft board. I don't see him going anywhere lower than 8th, I think.
Yeah, the latest one I saw, which was a few days ago, was 5 to who's picking 5th? Utah?
You would ask me that.
I don't have the order. I just know it was a farce.
Well, San Antonio's got the 2nd pick, and the Rutgers kid was projected to be their pick at number 2 because he's a 6'10" swingman. And then the draft measurements the combine measurements came out, and he's actually 6'7".
Yeah, 6'10", 6'7". What's the difference?
Yeah. Let's see here. So the mothership shows me that the Jazz are picking 5th. The Hornets are 4th.
Okay.
Philly is 3rd. I don't know. I don't see. I mean, Cooper Flagg, obviously the big name in this draft. But I mean, where was it? Where was Anthony Edwards drafted by Minnesota? I mean, he was out of Georgia, right?
Oh man, you would ask me that.
I think
Was he out of Georgia? Is that where he went after Top Gun?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to Georgia. He's the first overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft.
Okay, so he did go number 1.
Yep.
Okay. Well, bad example.
Even friggin' Minnesota gets the number 1 pick.
But the kid from Texas was Trey Johnson.
Okay.
Is that the kid that played at Texas this year?
You're really stretching my
Wow
knowledge on. There's
what do I pay you for? Can you remind me what I pay you people for?
I don't watch college basketball.
The Trey kid from Texas. He's projected
Richard
to go in the top
Earl,
5.
Trey Johnson,
He's somebody that nobody's really just hyping up other than being a top 5 pick potentially. But I mean, there will be somebody who comes out of the draft that, projects what their game projects well to the next level. Jeremiah Fears also. I mean, just using 2, regional guys for an example.
Oh, exactly. I did, halfway through the season, he had the great start, and then he just kind of got into physical play in the SEC, and like, this guy's he's not ready. He might need to, another year somewhere. And then he really turned it on at the end of the year, but his game does. I mean, he's handles the ball well, shoots the ball well, good player. We'll see. He's kind of small.
You kind of smart alecky mentioned Giannis potentially being somewhere next season. What's your theory on how that would pan out?
Well, OKC has 15 first-round picks in the next 5 drafts, 6 drafts. You can't take on that many guaranteed contracts. You just can't. That's a whole roster. So what do you do with them? You got to move them, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You got assets to move them. You got players you can package with picks to move them. They've got the most assets of anybody.
Is the value of those picks less with everybody knowing you can't keep all of those?
Who knows? Minnesota has no picks, or I'm sorry, Milwaukee has no picks. So some picks are better than no picks. I mean, they'll probably get more picks out of it.
Yeah.
But then, unless the NBA makes a call in the middle of the night and we wake up and Giannis was traded to the Lakers for 3 shares of In-N-Out Burger and what? Jerry Buss's
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar jersey.
A pair of game-worn goggles.
Yeah. So Knicks and Celtics tomorrow night. Knicks going to try to close out Boston I believe they're at Madison Square
Yeah,
Garden.
they're at the Garden.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall or a fly in the arena watching Jimmy Dolan's reaction to
Yeah,
that
what's
game when it
funny is
goes.
he's not getting as much heat lately as he has been for some reason.
When you win, I mean,
Yeah, winning cures all, right?
might be something Jerry Jones looks at, thinks about.
Freaking Jerry Jones. I can't. Have you seen that meme where the guy's cooking and he's got like a pot of something boiling and he like reaches out and pulls the lid off and throws something in there and it just explodes?
No, I haven't seen that.
That's George Pickens' locker room. You haven't seen that one?
No. Let's see. We said we would talk NFL schedule release. I think the one talking point that I wanted to get with you, Jeremy, particularly was if you're off on Thanksgiving holiday, you'll be able to watch your Chiefs and the
am.
boys play some ball.
I am off on Thanksgiving. I will be at home partaking and watching my Chiefs.
Yeah.
They're playing, beat the living snot out of Dallas. Let's go.
Did I get a chance to ask you what you thought about this offensive tackle taken by the Chiefs? Did we
Big
talk
kid
about
from
that?
Ohio State.
Yeah.
He was kind of dinged up this last year.
He's considered maybe the most physical specimen lineman wise in the draft, right?
A lot of people had him at the top of their draft as far as tackles go at the top, just because of sheer size and physicality. He's got to get over the injury bug. That's a big thing. If you're going to protect 15 in Red's blind side, you gotta be on the field, brother.
For sure. I'm sure Creed Humphrey will get him on a workout plan. Week 1, Dallas and Philadelphia, Raiders and Patriots, and Giants and Commanders. Those are the three that I look at that. I mean, well, I take that back. You've got your Chiefs taking on, the perennially playoff and conference championship bound.
It's the Brazil Bowl.
Yeah, the Brazil Bowl.
And the NFL, in their infinite wisdom, decided to have two teams that don't wear green this year.
Yeah.
I wonder how they feel about red.
Yeah. It's probably some Sao Paulo gang color or something like that. I watch City of God. I know how things work down there in Rio. Bengals and Browns. Week 1, that's a pretty good slate.
Yeah. There's a lot of. I
Bucks
think
and Falcons.
The worst game I saw week 1 was Cardinals Saints. Like, we don't know what the Cardinals are going to do. We have no idea who the quarterback even is for the Saints. Derek Carr.
Derek Carr
retired. So we're going to see Spencer Rattler. We're going to see Tyler Shook.
Tyler will last exactly. Do what?
We talked about Tyler Shook for like 6 years.
Yeah.
As a college quarterback, and now baby boy's all grown up.
Yeah, he's the man now, and he had Sweet Lou Riddick in his corner all through the draft. So
Sweet Lou Riddick.
Yeah. So big night, big chance for him.
He's got all the physical tools.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big kid. He's got a strong arm.
He was mobile.
He's mobile. He's just, man, the kid just gets hurt.
Yep.
And football is, God dang it, everyone's hurt. It's 100% injury sport, but you
got to protect your quarterback. I learned that from Paul Crew.
That's right. Paul Crew,
strength of schedule, Jeremy, according to Fox NFL, the winning percentage, the highest winning percentage for a team and their opponents is the Giants at 574. Right behind them is the Bears at 571. So we've heard all offseason how much weaponry Caleb Williams has around him now. That'll be interesting to see if they can compete in that NFC North with really some good teams.
And they should compete in the NFC North with, Ben Johnson's offense Caleb Williams has got a chance. They spent a lot of money on offensive line. They brought in an offensive-minded head coach. The two things you want in the NFL, is that star quarterback and that head coach is offensive minded. That where else is he going to go? He's got the top job, right? He's not the coordinator like Liam Cohen down in Jacksonville now, but he was with Baker in L.A. and then again in Tampa Bay, kind of resurrected his career twice. But then he jumped ship. Now he's going to go work with Trevor Lawrence. Look for him to have a huge bounce back year.
Yeah.
But that Bears team, yeah, right. That Bears team is going to be it might be fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, the Lions are still, trying to bust through that window themselves, and they still have, I like Jared Goff. I think he's a quality quarterback. Cowboys with a pretty tough schedule going into the season. 557 is the win percentage of their opponents.
Yeah, the same team hasn't won the NFC East twice since, I want to say, good Lord, I can't remember the last time the NFC East had a back-to-back champion. Think about that for a minute. Marinate on that, would you?
Yeah. Hey,
it's been a while.
Speaking of, what was the last year that was it 2013 that what was the last year that the Thunder went to the Western Conference Finals?
2016.
And that was the meltdown.
That was the 3-1 collapse, yes.
Okay. So all those seasons, the 2 seasons in 13 and 14 that the Spurs fell in the finals and then won the finals, was Oklahoma City in the mix those years?
At least one of them. You had the injury year in 2015.
And that was when Patrick Beverly took out Russell, or
no, that was 2014.
Okay.
That was in the semis, and they ended up winning that series.
Who got hurt?
Because remember, Durant broke his foot and missed the entire season.
Okay.
And Russ was out for quite a while.
All right.
That's been so long. That's been so long ago.
That's why
if you don't win a championship, I don't bother to remember.
2012 was the year that the Thunder went to the finals, and it seems like forever ago, and it really is forever ago.
Yeah, it's been 13 years.
13 years.
13 long years.
And that was year 4 into the franchise being in Oklahoma City. So
yeah, we had our hearts ripped off. We had a slight rebuild. We went way over the cap in luxury tax. Then we tore it down, and then Presti became a genius again. And
but you're not bitter.
Kevin Durant. If I hear one more talking head or read in print one more time how the Thunder had the most assets to make that happen, I'm going to lose my mind. No. 1-day contract at the end of his career, he can retire Thunder. I don't want to see him on the court here again. He's done. Everything he's touched since he left Golden State has just turned to crap.
Let's look at the Chiefs' schedule. Here's their first 4 games, Jeremy. Week 1 in Brazil against the Chargers. Week 2, Philadelphia.
Payback.
Week 3 at New York Giants.
Win.
Week 4, Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens.
3-1.
Week 5 at Jacksonville.
Win.
Week 6, Detroit.
Win. I don't believe in Detroit this year.
So who do you got them losing to?
Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
Where is that game? Is that at Arrowhead?
Yes.
Oh. Damn.
In week 9, they travel to Buffalo. And week 8, they host Washington. And
they will lose to Buffalo because they always lose to Buffalo in the regular season just to tear their hearts out in the playoffs. But that Washington game is interesting.
Yeah, it is.
That's Daniels have the sophomore slump.
Exactly. And we'll see if that happens. But man, they sure played well before that. So, anything else going on? PGA is this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, didn't Rory go out and fire a 3-over today? Your Masters champ.
Yeah, he's got his green jacket. He's good.
What has happened to Brooks Koepka?
Yeah, and Jordan Spieth.
Well, Spieth is just he. I don't know if we've talked about this, but you remember David Duval?
Mm-hmm.
Career path.
Yeah,
just went from
all
a
of
couple
the promise
majors
in the world.
and then all of a sudden you just can't hit a golf ball anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, Koepka, I saw he's struggling on the Live Tour.
Yeah.
He hadn't really done much in majors. That guy was like an Iron Byron for about 3 or 4 years. You know, he won the PGA Tour. He won the PGA, what, 3 times?
Yeah.
And then did he win a US Open? Was that an Open he won?
Man, you're pulling a me on you.
I know he ripped off 3 or 4 majors, and the guy just looked
Yeah.
unstoppable out there.
Well, in the
And
lead at the PGA is Jonathan Vegas from Venezuela. I wonder if he's from Caracas.
Caracas, Venezuela.
He's at 7 under, and then Cameron Davis, which I always like watching Cam Davis. He's second right now after day one at 5 under, as well as Ryan Gerard. But that'll be some, because here's the thing, Jeremy. Sunday you got Game 7, but Saturday the top billing for that I've seen on the Mouse Network is some WNBA action. I think New York and Vegas, and then Chicago. And have you seen the preseason Angel Reese clips?
Yes. That is so bad. Is she? Yeah.
What's the deal with Butter Pecan? He'll sometimes that guy will say Butter Pecan.
I don't know. I have no idea.
You're like way younger than me. You're supposed to be able to.
I'm not that much. I will be 50 in like 3 weeks, Chuck.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a milestone.
I know.
5 years removed from it, but it's
we've been force-fed this WNBA, and it's a subsidized league. The players just still think they need to be paid as much as the men.
Yeah.
The league draws about 3% of what the NBA draws.
Yeah.
And it's doing better. And it's still not making money. It's crazy. But Angel Reese. Huh?
Yeah. They're talking Caleb Williams on Sports Center.
Are they?
Yeah.
I'll turn the TV back on. I just didn't want to throw the remote. I just calmly turned it off.
This female sports anchor looks like she's wearing some severely autumn style attire, and it's May.
Damn, baby, what'd you do to your hair? It's autumn sunrise. You like it?
Sought way around being drafted by Bears in 20. Oh, now they're coming out saying he was doing everything. Everybody knew.
Yeah, I saw that story. He was doing everything he could not to get drafted by the Bears.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I knew
Pope's from Chicago,
and he's a Lions fan. But I knew that his dad was trouble. Like the Iamalava kid's dad, trouble. Just gonna pull a. Archie Manning did the same thing with Eli, and I didn't like it.
No, I didn't like it back in the 80s with
Elway.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Go play at Baltimore, you wuss.
Right, but I do understand it because yours truly has seen one of my favorite human beings to ever walk the planet, one Baker Mayfield, get drafted by the franchise that resides over the Hellmouth in Cleveland, where quarterback prospects go to die.
Yeah.
And you see that, and it gives you the perspective like, well, I might not like what Archie did, but I get why he did it.
Yeah. Look at what Phillip Rivers did in San Diego as opposed
I know. You'd rather go play in New York.
It's not the same as going, and I don't know.
You'd rather go play on the Jersey Shore
than
in beautiful San Diego, California.
San Diego.
You get to wear those sweet powder blues.
It was I did not like, I'm like you. I did not like all of the everything that was going on with it. I don't like, and apparently it truly backfired on Shadur Sanders. It's going to come out. Now it's going to come out on Caleb Williams. I mean, it's, you're given the opportunity to play this game at the highest level, and you're given the opportunity to be the number one pick. Thank God Cam Ward is just, taking his medicine, going to play in that crevasse that
Carolina.
it's called the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, yeah, Tennessee. Yeah.
You know,
He better hope those Oilers themed uniform changes are true, just so he'll look good on game day.
yeah,
That might be the only way he looks good.
exactly. But I mean, and did you see the video this week talking about the hellmouth and on Lake Erie? Did you see the video of the reporter standing behind Dylan Gabriel
Yes.
after the interview, and he mouths the word, "I'm taller than him."
Great.
Yeah, and you're
Great.
twice as wide too, fat.
Lace him up, fat boy. Get out there.
Yeah, why don't you go see if you can lead the Ducks to beat the Buckeyes?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I feel bad for Dylan. Yeah, that's just a no-win situation. He can go out there and just tear it up, and the fans will still want Shedeur.
Oh yeah,
just because of the hype.
Was Dylan on the UCF national title team?
No, he was still in high school. He was still on the island at that point.
Okay.
It was Mackenzie Milton was the quarterback on that team.
Well, he hasn't been gone that long, has he?
Mackenzie Milton got like 9 medical red shirts. Remember he tore his knee up and artery damage, and
so he was on
pretty awful.
Tyler Shook plan.
Yeah, he ended up in Florida State for a little bit.
No undrafted free agent for Alan Bowman that we saw?
No. Alan Bowman has retired from football, and I believe he's taken a job on a coaching staff. I don't want to say Oklahoma State. Maybe if Steve's around, he can chime in. I don't recall if he took it. But I know Gunnar Gundy's on the staff at Okie State.
I had to shut off YouTube on the computer here, so I'm not sure if somebody else has chimed in. My apologies.
Let me check. I've got good internets.
We
got Buso. Don't forget Chiefs 7 primetime games. That's right, Boos.
Golly.
We're not going to be subjected to the Jets every weekend now.
Can we just escort them into the AFC Championship?
Speaking of the Jets, just to get to the Steelers.
Yeah.
Are they going to roll with Rudolph, Howard, or is Aaron Rodgers coming?
I thought the talk was Aaron Rodgers was going to Pittsburgh.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Is he?
I mean, I haven't checked up on it this week. I had other things, but I think that was something I had overheard was that, it looks like it's kind of a foregone conclusion, possibly.
Or does he complete his Brett Favre arc and go to Minnesota? I think J.J. McCarthy's going to be good. I do. I think he's in the right system for him. Darnold.
It's funny you say that because I was going to ask you what you thought about when we were talking NFC North, what you thought about McCarthy up there.
He's in the right system.
Yeah.
He's in the right system for a young quarterback. He turned Sam Darnold into a 4,000-yard passer, won 14 ball games with Sam Darnold. By years, he's not a young quarterback, but by experience, he played for one of the worst franchises in the Jets, got passed around to the Panthers and then to the 49ers.
Yeah.
I think it's a great place for him to have success. The system is very quarterback friendly. It's a lot like Shanahan's system out in San Francisco.
Well, I know that's what I had overheard about Rodgers was that everybody's penciling him in at Pittsburgh because they play the Jets week 1.
Well, he needs to make a decision. We did this dance with Brett Favre.
Yeah.
And it got tiresome. Just yes or no.
Yeah.
Right up into the sunset, or don't.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to do some different things for the upcoming episodes. This will be our final broadcast in which we use the Zoom platform. Coming up next episode, we will be on a different stream meeting provider, and we'll see how that works out. And the goal is to set it up to where we can stream on multiple platforms, which will probably mean I require more of you because of my limited disk drive space here on the computer. But I'll try to use tablets and phones to monitor it. But
I've got hopefully it'll have some central
somewhere. Hopefully it'll have some central central monitoring system to where I'll actually see the comments. And if you want to kind of preview what I want to try to do, check out Ryan Hyatt Media on Twitter and check out his nightly broadcast. He was on today. In fact, I was looking at it, and you can bring up the things that people comment. And I feel bad because been trying so hard to go on the 9 o'clock route, but just it would have been 2 weeks without having a show, and I didn't want to.
Oh, I get it. It's fine.
So, but it's getting late, and I know you're probably tired. You got to get up early in the morning, but man, sorry about your team not being able to close out, up in the Mile High City, but it's just they'll have another chance, and it could be worse. You could be Houston losing in round 1 or Cleveland and losing in round 2.
They could still lose in round 2.
Yeah,
Sunday.
I guess it would be technically round 2, but at least you'd go to 7 against a former champion and not the Pacers.
Yeah,
the most overrated player in the league.
Who's that?
Oh, you didn't hear right before the playoffs?
Tyrese Halliburton
voted Tyrese Halliburton the most overrated player in the league.
What did Tyrese Halliburton ever do to anybody?
Went to Iowa State. Everybody hates that.
Oh,
that's why everybody hates Brock Purdy.
Exactly.
Hey, have a great week, bud.
All right, you too.
He's Jeremy Schroeder, ruler of the airways. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog, signing off here for the Weekend Big Show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for jumping on with us on our YouTube channel at Law Dog Sports. Be sure and follow us on X, Twitter X, Instagram, and Facebook at Law Dog Sports. And also, another news, we are condensing the podcast format to Spotify only. We will do away with Amazon Podcast. You'll probably still be able to listen to old episodes if you want, but I mean, everything's on YouTube. I don't know, but we're going to Spotify only for podcasting. You can get links to all of that at lawdogsports.com. Be safe out there. Don't text and drive, and sure don't drink and drive, and we'll talk to you next week.